layer like on top of a blockchain, it just doesn't work. And so our model is we built the blockchain, then the service layer, and then all the dApps can run on top of it. And that's what we think is going to be significant because we see lots of other folks deciding, hey, service layers are the only way you're going to make your blockchain usable to the dApp ecosystem.
오케이. 한 가지 어떤 질문에 좀 여쭤보고 싶은 게 있는데, 이제 메이저 게임사들을 많이 만나보면 NFT 게임과 관련해서 우려를 하는 점이 있더라고요. 이제 뭐냐면 이제 소유권을 유저들한테 주니까 이게 아까 말씀하신 것처럼 이제 게임 투 게임으로 유저들이 아이템을 이전하게 되면 이게 게임 개발사 입장에서는 매출을 빼앗기는 게 아닌가. 유저들이 또 들어와서 또 현질을 해줘야 되는데 이제 그거를 하지 않으니까 게임 개발사 입장에서는 오히려 수익이 떨어지는 게 아닌가. 이런 우려 때문에 NFT 게임은 하기 싫다. 뭐 이렇게 반응을 하시는 게임사들도 꽤 있으시더라고요. 그래서 이 부분에 대해서 좀 여쭤보고 싶고요. So I have a one-side question. So when I face many major game companies, what they say is that they have some negative opinion regarding NFT because if they allow users to their items to shift by game to game, then they are concerning about whether they are losing money. So that was my question.
그렇죠. 사실 대한민국의 메이저 게임사들이 움직이지 않는 이유이기도 하죠. 본질적으로 약관으로 유저에게 게임의 소유권을 인정해주지 않는 편한 방식을 통해서 법률적 리스크를 전부 회피하면서 굉장히 돈을 잘 벌고 있기 때문에 사실상 뭐 별로 필요하지 않다고 생각하실 수도 있을 것 같아요. 근데 제가 생각하는 관점에서는 좀 과장일지 모르겠는데요. 여기 해외에서 오신 분들이 있는데 한국의 사례를 들어서 좀 죄송합니다만은 이를테면 지금 승차 공유 서비스와 타다와 택시업계가 벌이는 컨플릭트와 비슷한 거 아닌가. 기존의 게임을 만들어서 게임에서 뭐 레비뉴나 성과가 나오면 그 성과를 개발사가 독점하는 구조였는데 그 퍼블리셔와 사실 뭐 그 구조가 제일 편하죠. 근데 제가 보기에는 NFT의 소유권이 누구에게 있느냐의 이슈는 사실 본질적으로 많이 나온 거고 크게 봐서는 큰 거창하게 말씀드리면 공유경제라고 말씀드릴 수 있을 것 같고 어쨌든 게임 산업의 과실을 독점할 것이냐 나눌 것이냐의 문제라고 생각해요. 그래서 뭐 게임사와 그다음에 유저와 또는 뭐 플랫폼 홀더와 거기에 기여하는 뭐 광고 사업자나 이런 사람들이 탈중앙화의 정신에 충실하게 플랫폼과 생태계에서 활동하면서 누군가에 의해서 독점되지 않고 이익과 그다음에 거버넌스가 독점되지 않는 구조의 가능성이 존재한다고 생각을 하고요. 그 가능성이 활짝 열리면 뭐 메이저 스튜디오들도 사실 들어오기 싫어도 어쩔 수 없이 들어오게 되지 않을까 이렇게 생각합니다.
So I think like with every new technology, there's always some risk, questioning, and then there's the people who are going in forefront and leading the movement. Brands have usually traditionally been the one in being in a standing position, waiting to see. But the reality is that in the IP licensing world, and I can speak for it, for Pixel, we have been working for 7 years with major IP like Garfield, Snoopy, Goosebumps, a few more, and as our parent company, Animoca Brands, being the #1 licensee game company with over 300 licenses. There are now Astrobo and a few more James will be able to name. They are actually not able to capture to the fullest potential from IT licensing, gaming, or even merchandising. And they have also, there's a total opacity about tracking the royalties that they can get from them because they don't really have the real number of sales. They just count on the partners to deliver every quarter some numbers, and they have no way to actually look at it. So that's one point. I think the blockchain by itself can allow to track if those IPs become NFTs, and blockchain allows to track exactly how many content has been distributed, to who has been sold, for how much, etc. It actually simplifies the calculation for them of the royalty and the revenue, making any loss impossible. The second thing is there's actually already in the physical world merchandising market where people are trading those objects, and the IP are getting actually zero revenue out of it. So Moving to the technology space, the blockchain is also allowing for them to actually be able to receive a part of the royalty on every future sale, no matter the number of transactions between peer-to-peer users and decentralized marketplaces such as Wax and others. So I think it's also again in favor to their benefits. And the last point, more specifically in the case of user-generated content, even in our first sandbox game, we've been working with several IPs in the past, including Pac-Man, Shrek, etc., that we integrated. And it's true there's been some friction about the IP wanting to control what the user could make in those game makers. They didn't want, for example, to have inappropriate situation involving their characters, or maybe if it's a medieval character, not to mix it with a dinosaur or a science fiction. So like the universe of this IP's context is being very controlled. But the truth is whenever I open YouTube, I see a lot of creative content and people just doing what they want to do with their favorite character. So why go against the flow when you have all this community, all these fans that like your IP, they want to buy your product, they do produce content for them, so it's actually good for them, it's more advertising, etc. And block them to do what they want. So I think an non-fungible token and games like us are actually more open and leading the way for them on the NFT side. And some of them are already contacting us to build the new sandbox and embracing the ID, which I think is really exciting. And we'll have soon some major announcement about that. Thank you.
For working with developers and talking to them, they obviously they want things in their own garden and they don't want to go out but what the blockchain can bring in those, and once again, going back to not games only, but the technology that it can bring is that at least what's special, they can actually make money off of even if it goes out of the garden. So, I mean, a good example is I remember years ago I was reading, pretty sure people here go to concerts. So I was watching the CEO of Live Nation, one of the biggest concert company in the world, and he was telling the artists that you need to start charging more for the end prices. And the artist says, no, we shouldn't. We can't charge that much. But he said, as soon as the ticket goes on sale, right away, brokers are buying that and they're charging double, triple for a Beyonce concert. And why are we letting these rent seekers make this money? They took no risk. They're completely gouging people. So if we're going to do it, let's increase the price, offer VIP packages, things like that. So the artists are getting the money because the concert promoter took the risk, the marketers, the dancers, everybody. So why are you letting these brokers do it? So in this world, what it can be done is because it can all be tracked, even if I sell it and I'm trying to be a broker, hey, it should go back to, let's say, Animoco Brands, maybe the original game, or Sebastian. As long as he's getting paid off of each one and saying, hey, and maybe they're taking a bigger percentage, like not 5, 10%. It should be like, we created the original IP, we did everything. You guys want to keep trading it, go ahead, but we're still taking our 30-40% cut. And that's what the NFL started doing, National Football League, and the concept just realized that let's get rid of these middlemen and let the original creators who took the risk to make the most money.
Yeah, just to your point, I think we work with a lot of the IP holders, so including Sanrio Digital, JU, Kitty, Ultraman, F1, E-Man, She-Ra, you name it, we have a lot of IP sort of partners. And this wasn't an overnight sort of communication. It took years, at least over a year, to educate these IP holders what blockchain brings to this new revenue stream for them. So with F1, obviously is succeeding. We're also actually announced MotoGP. So a lot of big brands now are really sort of understanding or getting the foot for the door to understand how blockchain can grow their business. And I think this is exciting for everybody here.
Yeah, so our approach is because we believe that the challenge is integration with the big platforms. So if you look at the existing e-commerce, social platforms, game platforms, payment platforms, they do not like blockchain. They view it as a threat, either regulatory because they don't understand, or a business threat. So we've essentially had to build our own versions of those things to make Wax. That's essentially driven our entire strategy. And we've had to go out and acquire users. So in our decentralized Amazon, we've got about 10 million users already. In our decentralized Steam, we've done about 90 million transactions. And our decentralized PayPal and account system, we're growing hundreds of thousands of users a month. for the blockchain side. So our whole vision is that, the only way to do this is to build it ourselves and go out and get those users. And now, because there is a secondary market of virtual items, users can make money in, of course, participating in that. So if I'm a game publisher, I make money not only selling the virtual item the first time, but the second, third, fourth, and fifth. The average item changes hands well over a dozen times on our platform. So that's our approach.
땡큐. 저희 그 행사가 사실 많이 시간이 지체되는 관계로 일단 질문은 여기서 마치고 혹시 추가로 이 패널분들한테 궁금하신 점이 있다면 질문해 주실 분 있으면 손 들어주시면 감사하겠습니다. 네, 없으시면 오늘